Alright, live parade strategy guide. So we're gonna have to break up this into a couple of categories because it really depends on what you want to achieve during this event. So first things first, we're gonna cover the most obvious one. If you want to get all the cards and you intend in getting 15 star, you pretty much have no choice but to complete every single area. And that involves completing all of these final missions because these final missions afford you the card. And not only are you going to have to do that, you're going to pretty much have to run the point reward all the way until you reach 2 million attendees. And that is because, assuming that you don't have, well, premium pass, which gives you an extra card, you're gonna need all these cards that you get from point rewards as well. There's one at 40,000 and there's another one at 20,000 attendees. So even if you're going for the other card, for example, this example would be Miho, which is the easier of the two cards to get, you still need to run it up to 1.8 million attendees, which is a lot. You would hit 1.8 million attendees way later than you hit 40,000 points in general, so I would not worry about the point rewards as much. If you do have premium pass, you get one extra copy of each card, so that's pretty nice. It saves you some grind if you happen to want those kind of rewards. But I mean, yeah, if you want 15 star, you're gonna need to play like a completionist and complete the entire event. There's no real way around that. You might need to cheese some of the songs. I mean, we could go over what kind of songs are easy to FC and stuff like that, but that's very subjective, I guess. Some people like certain songs and some people don't like certain songs, and some people are better at certain songs. It's kind of tricky. So we're going to talk about certain other more general things first. Suppose you want just one copy of the card. The common question that people ask is like, which is the fastest way to get one card? Well, the fastest way to get one card is actually to have the premium pass, but let's just ignore that for a moment and let's assume that we don't have infinite amount of money like some people do. You see, premium pass happens at 6,000 event points. You get the first card and you get the second card at 10,000. If you were to look at normal point rewards and you start scrolling, at 6,000 points you haven't really seen anything other than jewels. And at 10,000 points you get your first card. So in terms of like the first Hajime that you get, it's about the same point. In terms of the point where you see your first Miho, it's a different point. That happens at 15,000. So you need to think about how exactly you're getting the card, right? And in terms of 15,000 points, from personal experience, 15,000 points happens just after you would clear EX. Now just let me assume for a moment there that you are a decently good player and you know how to clear all these missions comfortably, and you can clear them first try every single time you play. If you were to clear all the missions first try and you were to grind all the way to the point you would get to EX3, which is this mission, which gives you the card, you would have just barely been under 15,000 points. If you don't play perfectly, you fail a couple missions here and there, you have to replay some of these things or stuff like that, there's a chance that you don't reach 15,000 points. You reach 15,000 points way before you complete this mission. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you are after the first card, it's only actually faster to rush for the final mission if you are decently good at the game. If you want to min-max the amount of points you get, now this is a bit of a tricky thing. In order to min-max points for Parade, the formula is not very well documented. So you would be dependent on playing Master Plus because Master Plus gives you the highest cap for points, and you will need to score somewhere in the ballpark about 700,000 points per play. At that point, you pretty much hit the point of diminishing returns and your point gain caps out. If you were to min-max that, you will hit 15,000 before you hit the last mission. But I'm assuming that you are not changing your team specifically and grinding a score song and FCing repeatedly, or like deliberately trying to maximize your point gain. Because if you do try to maximize your point gain, you also don't have to go for the last mission if you just want one copy. That's it. But of course, not everyone is good at clearing missions, or not everyone really wants to play missions. Of course, these days most people just want to dump auto, right? So if you are a relatively new player, and unfortunately this happens to be like your first few events, and you don't have any cards, you don't have any skill, you're not familiar with the songs, you can't play songs because you're scared you're gonna fail them, that kind of thing, there is a way to get cards in this without advancing the map, and that's just by playing the same missions over repeatedly. In the first area, you're already getting access to a 3-song mission, and these are the best ones to grind when you want attendees and points. So in general, the rule in Parade is the more stamina you spend, the better you get in terms of rewards, right? And so by just spamming this mission repeatedly, you're going to be able to amass some amount of attendees and points, and eventually you're going to be able to get the cards through that way. You don't actually have to advance the map past the very first area at all, if that's what you want. If you don't need to get all the cards, you can get a very large portion of cards just by being here. So there's one card in EX from this mission, and then there's no other cards after that. These are all jewels, right? And then there's one more card here, one more card here, one more card here, one more card here, one in each area. So in general, you're missing about 7 SRs, and you can still get to 2 million attendees from the very first area. In fact, that's what some people do. Some people don't really care about their completion in this game, they just want to grind fans or do something like that. We'll get the fan grinding strategy in a while, but that's another way that people can approach this event. You can grind, and you can even just dump your autos every day if that's what suits your fancy, and you're going to be able to earn your attendees and event points through there, no problem. Alright, so there's one more thing that we need to cover, and that's fan grinding. Parade used to be one of the best events to grind fans. Unfortunately, the advent of multipliers and stamina multipliers means that this event is kind of really slow to gain fans. Now, it is still one of the cheapest way to gain fans because you have the option to play lives for 10 stamina, which over here right now is reduced to 8 because I have the policy enabled, but 10 stamina lives are pretty good. Now, if you're not into those kind of things, right, and you just happen to be you want to get as much fans as quickly as possible, you don't care about cheap fans, this event's not really good for that actually. But what you can do is that you want to increase the amount of attendees in one single area to 3.3 million. As you can see, this is not quite 3.3 million. Basically, there is a hidden multiplier in Parade, and this is one of the very first things that people kind of really discovered about this event, is that for some strange reason, if you increase the amount of attendees you have in the area, the amount of fans you get per play increases. And then it caps out at 3.3 million. At that point, you're earning about 2.5x. Although it sounds like you're earning 2.5 times, but the base number when you have 0 attendees is 1.3. So you're really earning somewhere in the ballpark of 1.9 times actually in practice. But still, bonus fans is bonus fans. I mean, it is pretty decent if that's really what you want to do. The problem is getting to 3.3 million takes a long time. Now, in the first 700,000 or so, because there is a formula for this, the multiplier barely moves at all. It goes all the way up to only like 1.4, which is barely a 10% increase in fans. But once you hit about the 2 million mark, your multiplier approaches the 2.0 mark, which means that you're earning quite a bit more. At that point, you're looking at about 50 to 60% more. And then after that, there is a continued increase from 2.5 all the way to all the way to 2.5, which happens at 3.3 million. So that is the way to go if you want to grind fans in this event. That's pretty much it, really. The only other thing that I would mention is that yes, you can grind that in any area. You can do it in the first area, or you can do it in the last area. In fact, if you want to get to 3.3 million as fast as possible, the last area is better because you have 50 stamina missions. But the reason that most people don't do this is because if you look at some of the areas, you have three song missions that can be cleared with an auto team. So for example here, I have an auto team set up, and I'm just gonna auto and be able to clear the missions. This makes it a lot more comfortable for some people, although it's kind of a little bit of an ironic situation that you are wasting fans by you playing auto in order to grind fans at a later date, which is kind of like a bit of a strange dynamic to have, but that is the realities of Parade right now. So I think that pretty much covers all the essential strategy that you need to know about this. And yeah, the organization of this video probably isn't the best. Honestly, I don't really know how exactly I should be formatting these kind of advice pieces when most people really don't have that much of an interest in like playing the game to begin with. So we'll see about this. Maybe I'll find a way to revise the format and make things better. In any case, thank everyone for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment telling me what I should do for my next guide. Because clearly, there is no shortage of content to create about this game, because there are so much things that still need explanation despite this being a really simple game. So, I hope you all have a good day, and yeah.